So next up is getters and setters. They are essentially properties that will run a function. And so getters will run some sort of function to return some sort of value, and setters, you pass in one value. You can't do multiple. You pass in one value, and it will set some properties on, it'll change the state of robot. So this is where we get into understand state management. So a state of an object is basically what all the properties are at that moment in time, okay? So right now, the state of this object is that the model is 1E78V2, and then the energy level is 100. That is the state of the robot at that time, okay? In order to change the state, we literally assign it to be something else. So now it's a different state. It's different, okay? So we're going to create a getter method called energy level to using the get keyword, and we're going to leave the function blank. So this will return the energy level at some point. So get energy level, and we're going to leave the method blank for now. So run. Great. Inside the getter method, add an if statement to check if it is a number, if the condition is truthy, my energy level is that. Replace energy level with the value of this dot energy level. Okay, that's weird. If type of this dot energy level, notice how that has the one with the underscore, return this dot energy level, and make sure you use template strings and semicolons. So there you go. This should work. Great. If this energy isn't a number, it could be that the energy level is altered. Let's add a default statement for such a scenario arises. System malfunction, cannot retrieve area. So you don't need an else statement. You can just return that, because the return will stop at that point. There's no reason to put an else statement there, but it wants you to because it's stupid. Great. What? Add an else statement that returns system malfunction, cannot retrieve energy level. Let's add a default return statement for such a scenario case. Yes, I did. It's right there. Else return that. You saw it. I literally copied the crap over. System else. Oh, equals number. Okay, that was the issue. I wonder why that said true. That should have thrown an error before. Log the result of energy level. Console.log robot.energy level. So notice how I am not putting, even though it looks like this is a function, and it is a function, I'm not actually putting that on because it itself is not called like a function. It's called by accessing that property. Okay? So it'll say my current energy level is that. Honestly, I don't really like doing that because this is not a great way to do that. If you're going to do something like this, it doesn't really make sense to, like, when you're accessing the information. This should be like energy level message. That makes sense. But energy level should be a number. Whatever. What do I know? So then you have setters. Setters are accessed the same way as getters or other properties, but you are passing in a single information or a single piece of information and setting it to being something else. The thing is, the type of the getter the type of the information that getter returns and the type of information that you apply into the setter must be the same, especially in TypeScript. In JavaScript, it doesn't care because JavaScript is stupid, but that's important. So we're going to add a set num of sensors, and it's going to pass in some sort of information, and we're going to provide a num into there. Okay, so we're going to set num of sensors, And honestly, that's a stupid name. It should just be num sensors, not num of sensors. Number of sensors, num sensors, whatever. Ugh. There are a couple of things we should do in the setter method. Add a check to see if number is a number. So if num, or type of num equals number, then we're good. Num should also be greater than or equal to 0. If it isn't, num equals 0. Let's just assign it. If num is less than 0, num equals 0. And if both conditions are met, reassign this to... Okay, no, it doesn't want me to do that. Fine. And num is greater than or equal to 0. It wants me to this dot num of sensors equals num. If both conditions are met, we'll do that. Yep. So now an else that logs else console.log. See, this is bad. This returns both a string and a number. That's just bad practice. That is stupid. So, yeah, that's dumb. Pass in a number equal to 0. So, boink. Run. Cool. Num of sensors set our on robot to assign that to 0. So, robot.num of sensors. And again, we don't pass it in like that. We say equals 100. So now we are changing that to being 100. So now if I console.log robot.num of sensors, it should say 100. If I assign it to being a string, it's going to pass in a number. It's going to say, hey, pass this in, and then I'll say 15. Here's the thing. You can't actually do a return statement in a setter. I mean, you technically can, but it's not going to return anything. It doesn't really make sense to have a return setter or return inside of a setter. JavaScript will allow you, TypeScript won't. So, getters and setters, basically properties that call functions.